There's anything goes. Hopefully, you guys are having a great and exceptional day. It's Thursday. It's a nice rainy Seattle day, but we're gonna make it do what it do, as they say, and call it a day. Weekend's almost here. Another short week for us who are off on Monday. For us that are entrepreneurs, we're never truly off, but you still gotta enjoy life a little bit every now and then. That's how I look at it. All right. So today's word of the day is overbite. Stands for a condition of teeth in which the front upper incisors um, and canines project over the lower of one's mouth or whatnot. Like certain people have overbites when as they're growing up, or even if, as an adult. They might need braces, or they might need a retainer. Actually, when I was a kid, I was fortunate enough I never needed any braces or retainers. I used to thought that retainers looked cool though as a kid. That was back then. But I choose that word today because it always puts in perspective of a lot of us are born with certain deformities, certain handicaps, and it's not even just a lot of times physical. It could be a mental handicap. I remember as a kid growing up, I was put in the learning disability or the special ed classes because of the way that I learned wasn't in conjunction with the rest of the children. And newsflash, in education, this is the problem with standardized education. It's good because it can help people, get the basics down when it comes to, basic math, reading and writing and things of that nature. But people's comprehension skills are way different. I remember seeing a documentary years ago, might have been over 10 years ago, on HBO, and it's back when cable was a thing, where it highlighted, this one guy was actually a business owner. He owned a lumber yard. I think he was in Kansas or somewhere of that nature. But he talked about, he even got emotional. I remember he was talking about, how hard it was for him going through grade school. He didn't go to college. He got himself a skilled trade. He was financially literate. He was showing how his lumberyard was doing. He was doing great financially and whatnot. But the way that he learned, the method of way that he learned was totally different than the standardized teaching. And I don't care what state or country you're in. It doesn't matter. Everybody's learning style is different. The one good thing about the children that are coming up today is that they have so many online platforms where they can, if they don't understand what the teacher's saying, they can take the subject matter, go on YouTube or any other online platform and look up the specific same subject matter and at least get a level of understanding. It's not going to make them a specific expert, but at least get a level of understanding of how to figure out how to complete a specific assignment that the teachers assign to them via homework, via various other different things, and they're the ones that are very fortunate enough and lucky enough to have that nowadays. If I would add that as a kid, just being able to click a few buttons instead of having to search through a bunch of books, man, I tell you, because even as an adult now, my learning styles has enhanced and increased tremendously because like getting through certain science classes and math classes in college, or even certain certifications and whatnot, because somebody's already done it. It's not rocket science, and somebody can, when you go to a lot of these vlogs, platforms, and things of that nature, podcasts, people are breaking it down, not trying to sound like a scientist, or not, if you look at the old show, Big Bang Theory, not trying to sound like Sheldon when they speak. They're actually speaking in general terms, and I don't even call it dumbing it down. I'm just calling it, putting it in a format so that people can gather a level of understanding. And that to me is one of the best things about being alive right now, being able to enhance your intellectual mindset and not having to think black versus white, up versus down. You're able to go all around in your learning styles. And there's so many different other platforms you can even, that's free and that you can pay for, that can allow you to even get to that level of understanding, especially in financial intelligence world. Like I've been on courses with Fatherhood University, EUL University, the Black Business School, and by utilizing and paying for that education, I have a better level of understanding on how to plan for retirement, invest in the stock market, crypto market, buying bonds, buying real estate, buying into franchises, various different, all aspects of the thing that I'm a geek about, financial intelligence. A lot of people are geeks about watching comic book series, movies and things of that nature. That does nothing for me, but I love to learn about economics in a big, 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 big way. So that is my whole thing. But it's all good, and to me, that just helps people get better in life and prepare for the world that they're going to embark in. Because a lot of times people, a lack of understanding happens on various different levels just because of a way that somebody describes something. Like a lot of times when somebody's describing something that I'm not too familiar with, I will re-explain it to them in the general terms for me, not even just general terms, but in terms that I'm going to understand so that I can develop a level of understanding. And I always say, give me an example. Okay, because that's the first thing. If you can't give me an example, then that means you don't know it. That's my whole thing. If I'm teaching somebody something, I'm going to give them an example, like I just did in regards to, my learning disabilities throughout grade school and things of that nature. But how if I would have had a YouTube university, how I could have combated them much more easier instead of me just having to pick up a book and try to understand it. And certain teachers worked with me better because they, one, were good at the job, two, passionate about the job, and three, could actually give me a real life example that I could relate to. That's a lot of times how teachers lose students. I'm not saying I'm a professional, but that's how you lose me as a student on any level if you can't give me a everyday real life example. But anyways, today's quote of the day is by Dr. Dre. It says, "Don't worry about the next man. Make sure your business is tight." And I could not agree with that statement more, because a lot of people want to get upset over what certain people say, whether it's a politician or a celebrity. And I'm like, to be honest with you, if they're not really affecting your everyday life, don't worry about it. Now, if you're going to criticize them, cool. And if you're going to check them, then cool. Because it's one thing when you're being disrespected, then yeah, you got like that councilwoman in Los Angeles. She needed to be checked. She finally resigned, and I'm glad about that. I don't care what race you are. If you're supposed to be in office and representing people, you're not supposed to be disrespecting people and being a well-known documented racist. I don't care what race you are. I'm not with it, period. So I don't care what party you're with. I'm not with it, period. So, but yeah, so that's just what it is at the end of the day. But in that aspect, but like when Kanye West says something, he's a rich celebrity. I don't care. He's not. If he runs for president, I don't think he would win. But if he did, okay, great. He wouldn't last too long, and he would probably end up doing something. But Kanye West is great at marketing himself, and that's cool. But even then, it's like I don't lose too much sleep over things. I'll express an opinion, and then I will move on with my life, because that's what one has to do. You got to be about your business and about what you're doing, because if you spend too much time focusing on what everybody's doing, what everybody's saying, then you lose sight of who you are and what you're about and what your life's supposed to be about. All right. So on that note, do the great 3 things: like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. Don't forget to check out my online store if you're a stock market investor, crypto investor, individual, retirement account investor. Don't forget to check out WEBULL, Stash, Acorns, Crypto.com, Coinbase. With all those platforms, you'll be able to make some money, especially with WEBULL. You'll be able to make some, not only make some money, but you're able to get a couple of free stocks all at the same time. So on that note, as I always say, make money moves, or you're going to live, bro, like a fool. Take care, family.